Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Break the Record Live here at ESA Marathon. My name's Bowie the Hero. Welcome back to me, I guess. Hello, all. I'm joined by Alibaba, who's been doing a fantastic job on the comms earlier with Argic and Capitaine. But yeah, we'll be taking you through the next hour or so. So we got a lot of stuff going on right now. Let's have a look at it all. We have currently 5 runners going. And we're currently watching Dan Flesch just deal with Gwendolyn here after having a pretty solid painted world. Yeah, looking on to be on good pace and a nice, good Gwendolyn finish there. So, Break the Record Live is sponsored by Kaspersky and by Twitch. Thank you to Kaspersky specifically for the $5,000 prize pool that our 7 runners here will be competing for over the weekend. It's going to be 3 whole days of many run attempts from our runners to get the fastest time possible during the event. Currently, we have our leaderboard standing as such. I'm going to click the leaderboard button. I've been waiting to do that all day. Yes! Leaderboard. We are able to see the standings, what their current event PB is, and their overall PB. And of course, we're looking for that world record, which is Catalyst's current PB. And you can see he's so close to that. The event PB of 102.48 with an actual world record of 102.34. So incredible stuff from him today. But and this is only day 1, so we've got to see how it's going to go. Currently, as I said, we're watching Dan Flesch, who's on very, very good pace. Just got a gold split, 25 seconds ahead. Alibaba, what do you think about this section right now?
Well, he managed to get the jump, which is quite easy. He didn't choose to do the sword hilt bounce here, so he chose to take it a bit safe. So Capra should be pretty easy here.
Yeah, because they skip the fog gate. Capra doesn't get any. Well, his AI doesn't really activate, so it's a nice easy finish. The dogs, however, are still annoying, but yeah, he likes to stay prone, which is very helpful.
Yeah, so now he's going to meme roll into the top of the depths right here, which is one of the coolest skips in the game, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And he's going to make his way to one of the most annoying skips in this run.
Yeah, we've seen this claim a couple of runs today. I've always found it interesting with skips like these, how whilst you are going out of bounds, the geometry is just such that you're able to hit specific areas like this, and it's a wonderful bit of routing. Doesn't get that jump there. Darkbead the rat quickly, but yeah, this is a really, really weird one. It may look like you're just trying to jump over a simple fence here, but this is an attempt to skip fog gate going into
okay, nice.
You can see the sigh of relief for getting that one because it's pretty tricky.
And he got this jump as well.
You can see he's losing time there. I mean, it wasn't the slowest, but it still could have been a bit faster to get through that. And that fence, getting it is enough. But that's where the time loss is mostly coming from here. Still ahead though, a clean 10 seconds ahead, which is
yeah. I believe he had first try jump in his PB. So.
Should note as well, yeah, that the whilst we're watching and being compared to his actual PB, event PB for Dan Flesch is 105.32, as you probably saw on our stunning leaderboard. So whilst this is looking quite tense in terms of getting an actual PB, very much on pace to get an event PB and even take away the second place from Olsku and rank up with a nice $300 bonus from 700 to 1,000.
So now he's gone into the catacombs, and we're going to be getting another meme roll drop soon before Pinwheel, which is pretty cool.
Who? Yeah. Sorry, I was told that you have to make a joke every time, or are we trying to avoid the joke every time? I can't tell which one.
Who even knows at this point?
Yeah, it's become its own beast. We've got looking around as well. Catalyst is back in. It was taking a break earlier, watching Dan's run. Nice to show a little bit of camaraderie there amongst the community. But both Catalyst and Nax once again reset hell is real and alive. I'll be trying to break out of that beginning bit as we have Iron Boy just coming up to his Ornstein and Smaug fight. Yeah, but we'll keep our eyes on Dan though, because he is at that 50-minute mark, coming to the business end of this run.
Yeah, he's about to take on the hardest boss in the game. Let's hope he survives.
Be careful.
Oh, that was really close.
Oh god. I can feel it. I can feel it. Electric, absolutely electric scenes here at Break the Record Live.
And let's see if he's going to do the precise pathing through here. Okay, he is. Okay, and he got it.
Nice. Yeah, these blind segments of movement and platforming is very impressive. It's one of those things you kind of, I guess it's one of those muscle memory type things. You kind of get that feeling.
Failed the fog gate skip, sadly.
Yeah. Just gonna go for it instead. Okay.
Yeah, it's very hard to do a second time because of the skeleton behind you. And he'll pretty much mess you up instantly. Meanwhile, Iron Boy's about to take on ONS.
Yeah, these longer movement sections can create a little bit of when if you're taking big deaths or losses here, it does obviously ramp up the time loss quite a lot, but with enough experience and enough knowledge about what you're doing, this should be straightforward enough, and you'll probably experience enough kind of variance in terms of enemy behavior to be able to kind of have a variety of counterplays to most situations.
That's usually the case, but there are some unavoidable memes occasionally.
You can't really get past everything. It's the beauty of RNG. Quick setup in preparation for this boss. Chugs. And that's just to make sure. Obviously, they're looking for a specific damage setup, so that enough damage is done. So equip the ring to half your HP, max out with the Estus, and then take the full damage to get down to the below 20% to make Nito, to get your red Tearstone ring damage buff, and then easy fight against Nito.
Yeah, so we had a good fight, but he lost time because of what happened earlier, sadly. Still ahead though.
Yeah, still hanging in there. These are those runs that are like super painful to kind of do in a way, because like you're aware of how good it was, and you're just so aware that you're like hemorrhaging time, and it's frustrating because you're trying so hard to not lose any more, and that can cause those errors to creep in when you're just like taking things a little bit too closely, and it can definitely cost you every now and then.
Yeah, and he did another meme roll there. And the reason he cast full control was because you only really get iframes at the start of your mid-roll, but when you have full control, it pretty much just negates all damage as long as you're in that animation. So even though he landed right before his roll was about to end, he still survived because of that. And he's going to do the Blighttown drop now as well.
This is definitely a satisfying thing to see, because this entire segment is just...
Yeah, casually this area sucks, but...
I think, I mean, this game came out in, 2011, I want to say?
Yeah, this version came out in 2018, but the original was 2011.
Yeah. Just trying to think back to, almost 10 years ago now. Bloody Nora, I'm old. Yeah, I remember kind of like talking to my friends at the time about this, and just Blighttown was the only word we saw for a while, next to many expletives. It was a tough one just to skip that majority of that drop all the way down straight to get to Kellugs. Well, there is very, very nice.
Yeah, and obviously with Darkbead, this fight is pretty easy.
It is an essential pickup, and it's really, really nice to see just how well it can be used with this build in particular.
Although she actually does have a lot of health, though, despite being a pretty early game boss.
I think the way that they kind of like went about designing certain things like this is either they wanted to kind of like it was so. I guess there was a chance of a bit more open exploration in that regard, that you can find harder bosses in easier quote unquote areas and vice versa.
Yeah.
But also maybe a case of just maybe toning back certain elements of the AI so that it's one of those ones where it becomes a marathon fight rather than like a short, sharp burst DPS race type approach. And I've always found that interesting in terms of like boss design.
Yeah, like the classic one attack at a time fights.
Yeah, God, Jesus, yeah. There's not enough time to do more than just one hit, so bait out one attack and run. Yeah, not the most fun sometimes, but definitely an approach. And it just pushes different buttons for like different skill sets. Having patience in fights like these, and I think that does manifest itself in this run as well. In small ways, because like the temptation to when you're kind of like close to getting a KO on a boss just to try and press one more spell because you want to try and get it and then overreach and then take a death like Nax just has because of that dragon breath.
Yeah, so Dan is going to Ceaseless, and Iron Boy's actually got to run past ONS, which is nice.
Seems to be like a fair chunk of time loss there, however, about 20 seconds time loss roughly. As we've got Catalyst on another Screamer. Well, I say Screamer, it's three seconds ahead, but you know, for world record pace, that's pretty solid. It's pretty damn good. Considering we know that a lot of the time save that Catalyst has is in that mid to late kind of game, because there was a bit of time loss around the DLC section, so getting back, you know, to Guardian and Artorias will be some nice stuff, because he had a pretty obnoxious pattern from Artorias, if I recall.
Yeah, if we did see someone break the record in this weekend, that would be something quite amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a thing. I mean, dare I put the pressure on the Dark Souls community and give them the stats, the legacy of break the record live? I think I will. Every single break the record live we have done thus far, the record has been broken.
So, I know it would also be it would almost be kind of anticlimactic if it didn't happen, I suppose.
Yeah. I'd love to see it myself, just so we can have the flawless record of back-to-back records being broken every time.
Well, you never know. Kata's run right now could be the one.
And that's the way speedruns go. Like, any run can be the one. So it's kind of like, again, the whole thing about Break the Record Live is, you know, to kind of showcase that, like, the grinding. Any run can be the one. We always watch the VOD or see the run in a vacuum and never see how it... And we sometimes do. We don't always see, you know, how it gets there. And, well, you might just see it this weekend, friends.
So yeah, now Dan's about to take on actually one of the rougher bosses in this game. We'll see if he does. Gives a good RNG here. Okay, nice. So he did the jump attack, which means that the fight is completely free. Sometimes he can do an AoE, which actually can kill you, or attacks you have to roll. But Dan didn't need to worry about that this time.
As mentioned earlier, but this segment is a lot of running. It's just a very large, expansive areas that don't have the hugest amount of opportunity to skip everything. Speaking of which, there is a plunge here you can do to save. I think it's about a second. Ash mentioned earlier.
It's about a second and a half, approximately. I think.
Totally worth. Yeah, but it's playing it safe. You want to just see this kind of thing out. You're at the very end of the run. You're coming to the last few bosses. Got Centipede. And then, we have seen this boss take a few souls today. Not today, it seems. Let's see. Orange Charge Ring right here, which couldn't have come at a better time, in all honesty, couldn't it? My word. The serendipity right there of getting that ring.
Yeah, now for one of the most boring run-throughs in the whole game.
With that said, should we look elsewhere for a little bit whilst that's going on? Maybe let's have a look in with Kata, because we haven't seen him for a bit, and...
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, okay. Coming up to, I believe it's Iron Golem coming up to, yeah, great. A bit of an interesting one, because like, a lot of the bosses will just see kind of like just completely overwhelmed with magic damage based on the intelligence build from soul duping that goes on in this run, but this is a bit more of an interesting one just because it's a nice abuse of specific physics and directioning from the Iron Golem. Rather than actually just deplete this guy's 8 HP, we're going to try and force him into a death plane that will basically end the fight nice and prematurely.
Yeah, so you have to deal 400 damage below his knee to stagger him, and then 200 for him to fall. Which, with the stats and the spells, that's very easy, as you'll see in a second.
Yeah, it's a great heavy for the first one to get the first 400, and then a regular soul arrow is enough to send him over.
Yeah, and that's the fight.
And then Anor Londo time. Haha! Big fan.
Yeah, the totally not the ultimate run killer, by the way.
Yeah, so like again, there are stats available for you guys. If you go on to ESA Marathon 2, then you'll be able to see a stats page for all of the runners, which is getting live updates from. It's basically it's directly locked into their live splits. Whatever is happening on their live split, that's the information you'll be seeing. But on our side of things, we've also got a resets per split thing, which I'm a statistic I'm always fascinated to see. We just looking pretty good. Okay, still ahead. Lost a bit of time there, but still ahead. And yeah, like you'll normally see in like so many runs that the first split is just massive. So many resets on the first split alone, and everything else is kind of whatever. But there's a nice like sharing of splits that will be reset on at the beginning of this run, and like the beginning has its fair chunk because it is the beginning. But then things like getting to the Taurus demon and doing doing the Undead Berg is kind of like you'll get a lot of resets there as well. But this split takes a lot of runs, a lot more than you'd expect.
Yeah, the early game's really rough. Like, first you got to do Low Undead Berg skip, then you got to free Griggs, then you can die to Hellkite after Taurus, you can die to Gargoyles, you can, and then you have to run all the way to Anolondo, and then you can die to ONS or to the skip. It's not nice at all. Although it does look really nice when it goes right, though, but that's pretty rare.
Yeah. Speaking of going right, it seems like we have a little bit of time save again for Dan after the Bed of Chaos. Going for his finale here, so he's back in Firelink Altar. He'll make his way down to Gwyn and finish the video game, getting an actual PB. It looks like 8 seconds ahead. We'll pop back to Dan just to see their finale, because that's a good-looking run for them. So that will. This is. I mean, if all goes right, very simple stuff to do. Tank one hit from the soldier coming up to put ourselves into red tier stone ring damage proc. Chunk the hit. There we go. Easy. So the reason again for this, if you've either just joined recently or you don't quite know what the red tier stone ring does, below 20% HP, you gain a 50% damage bonus onto your just sheer damage numbers up immediately. Then it also has a bonus effect on magic spells. So it kind of like adds together in multiple ways and means that it kind of I want to say over doubles damage, as well as all of the other kind of like equipment we have equipped on the boss too.
So, assuming the rest of this goes right, I believe this run can get an event second place.
Absolutely. Right now, Dan Flesch with a 105 in terms of at the event, and Olsku has a 104.24. So this will be a true PB and an event PB if all goes right here.
So yeah, it's all going to come down to the Gwyn parry.
Yeah. Apparently, there's 2 different openings Gwyn can give you, so you got to be able to react to it very quickly.
Yeah, he can do either a quick jump or a slow one, but he did the easy one this time.
There it is. Dan breathes a sigh of relief, gets to run out of the gates, and there it is. Event PB, true PB.
Yeah, nice.
It's going to be a 103.43 for Dan Flesch there. Congratulations. Second place, $1,000 in the bank if all remains the same by the end of Sunday. Congratulations to them. Well done. Ooh, look at that. The stretch. Big fan.
Yeah, that was really solid, actually.
Bit of a shame what happened, obviously, between Capra and the Gaping, Capra Demon and Gaping Demon, just to lose a little bit of time there, and obviously missing the fog skip for Nito. So one of those things, go even out of Gwendolyn, and you've got some pretty chunky time save in the middle there. So whilst it's good, we can do a little bit better. Keep going, but should be happy with that for sure.
Yeah, I think you'll probably be able to improve it by 20 seconds, maybe more in the next couple of days. If all goes well, of course.
Yeah, speaking of going well, everyone's look at all these green splits. Nax is -20. Iron Boy, let's click and have a little look at Iron Boy, because we've been watching them a lot today, but they've been doing very well, so I think it's a good shout. Currently doing the gold fog skip here. Time limit they're on -141. Look at that. Right. So when even up to Butterfly and the last 2 runs that Iron Boy has completed, he's died to the Hydra during the Hydra and Dusk split. He didn't this time. Yes. Let's go. And at the same time, Catalyst saved a cheeky bit of time against Ornstein and Smaug. So, yeah. -2.7, I think.
Yeah, it seems like everyone's doing well at the moment.
Yeah, Nax is in the green as well. We have Gentoff a few seconds behind. I think I want to say about 40 seconds behind right now. 8. Sorry, 40? Wow. My eyes. 8 seconds behind. I apologize. Is there any kind of segment that, from like personal experience, is kind of like one of the most interesting parts of the run to watch, or kind of like one of those things that you kind of like always want to keep track of when runners are doing it?
It's actually this segment, I would say, that Iron Boy's on, because at least in this category, because you do a lot of stuff like the Foggate skip, you do the elevator up warp, the full control quit out, and you do the other full control quit out actually in Crystal Caves as well. Yeah, it's a lot of technical stuff, which I'm a big fan of personally.
Yeah. Waiting for that quit out until the elevator starts moving. I think games like this that kind of like, for let's say they're pretty much always auto-saving type deal. It's very interesting how kind of like routers of these kinds of games will figure out, where they can do basically where they can like save and use resets to kind of like abuse certain things that are going on in the game. A lot of trial and error, I don't doubt, but out of bounds right now for Iron Boy.
So going this way normally isn't actually faster. However, he wants to get the Great Magic Shield for a boss later, which some people might have already seen by now. But I guess we'll explain it if he gets that far. It's actually one of the biggest time saves of this route compared to other ones, because you don't need to get the key for Goth in the DLC anymore, thanks to that spell. Which probably saves like 2 or 3 minutes.
One of those, the ones that doesn't always sound like it's that big a deal, but actually, if you were to sit there and count out 3 minutes, like spending a lot of time on.
And you might think 3 minutes isn't a lot, but when you put it in retrospect, it actually kind of is by a lot.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, and the thing is, the more and more optimized a run gets, the less and less time you have to kind of like expand upon strats and to save big time. So when you have things like that, in the history of the run, being saved, it's kind of, in retrospect, you go, that is actually a good chunk. Oh
yeah, that's unfortunate. He didn't jump in time, sadly, and he slid off.
Dang.
Yeah, and looks like he's going to reset from that.
Yeah, a little bit too much of a time loss. I think at this point as well, knowing like how the run's been going, doesn't really have the ability to hold on to that too much. We should really go and check in with our record holder, because we didn't. Yeah, we should probably have a look at this. Just about to go and do the Hydra and check in with Princess Dusk. 5.7 seconds ahead.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid pace at the moment.
It's a little bit good.
Yeah, it's just a little bit, you know. yeah, it's nothing special, you know.
No, yeah, don't worry about this. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to head out, you know, for the evening, we appreciate you guys hanging out. But yeah, not much is going to happen here. It'll be too. It's not safe. I'll say that. It's definitely not a safe run. It never is a safe run. I mean,
I know you can literally lose the run on pretty much every segment.
And we've seen it. Like, I'm pretty sure we've seen Old Ku has been, you know, a cool like 40 seconds ahead and, you know, running nice and easily, and then just gets clipped one by one enemy on the way, and that's it.
I know, it's so painful though. Like, to watch. So yeah, it's 3 soul spears on the Hydra heads here, and then they're done for. And then now he can go kill the golden golem to save Dusk.
The Hydra is a really imposing looking boss, but honestly is felled quite simply, especially with this build again. Ooh, hello. Got a little bit closer.
Yeah, that was pretty spooky. Yeah, now for the really long rollback.
Yeah. If anyone hasn't made the joke, I'm going to do it, and I apologize in advance. But dark rolls. There we go. I said it. I've been thinking about it for about 5 hours, and I finally got a chance to say it. I'm not sorry. But yeah, this is looking pretty good. So yeah, 102.34 obviously is the world record that Catalyst currently holds, and it is what we're comparing against right now. So what you are seeing is Catalyst ahead of his BB and world. About, yeah, just over a third of the way into this run, which is looking pretty solid. Not going to be able to know how that one went just yet, but having a look at it, this split he's got.
Oh, that was a big time save.
Yeah, a lot of time to save. I was about to say 9 seconds, and that is looking very good. Got a gold earlier as well today in this run. He got a gold grabbing the red Tearstone ring, so bloody Nora. Looking very good.
So yeah, now he's going to do Moonlight Butterfly, which is actually what in a casual playthrough they're really annoying, but actually in this route they're extremely consistent because it's only like 3 spells to kill it.
Yeah. It seems quite. It's one of those bosses. I mean, I know that we kind of people tend to joke about Pinwheel, but like this goes down pretty much just as easily. It looks lovely, I'm sure, but thanks for coming. Good fun.
Yeah, that doesn't even have time to get an attack off. Well, that was nearly a gold as well.
Yeah. So that was 0.01 seconds off the gold there. 55.02 versus 55.01. So, man, this is looking pretty solid. And again, like I was mentioning it earlier, but like the big time save really is around the DLC section. It's got like 8 seconds on Artorias, 6 seconds on Calamite as well, and 6 seconds on Sif actually. So that's all where that is. And then, yeah, I mean, actually there's 7 seconds as well on the Gaping Dragon. So looking forward. So there's like a bunch of time save in that kind of like mid to late game. Best possible time is still under 102. It's a 101.41, which is impressive.
Yeah, that's really good at this point of the run. So yeah, doing the Def Cam movement into the Duke's Archives. It's a little finicky, but it's not that bad.
Yeah, this is the one that has like a pretty specific time constraint on though. So
Yeah.
Whereas other ones kind of like aren't so bad. You can just kind of take it at your own pace. You have a bit of a time limit. As was described earlier, the blue line that's being left behind is essentially the effect of full control being like activated every single frame that you're kind of moving, because
Yeah,
like the game's trying to kill you, but it can't.
yeah. The ground is coded to kill you when you land on it, but the full control negates it. But because even with the lingering dragon quest ring, you have a limited time to actually get to where you need to be, or you'll die when spell runs out.
We got the simultaneous Ornstein and Smorg here, which is let's
Pretty
go.
fun.
If you wanted big golden boys, you've got them. But cleanly through for both players there. Not bad.
Nax looks like he's going to be green.
Yeah. He is 21 seconds ahead right now. Nax is right now. 22 seconds into the green. And looking like going to be saving time on this one too. I believe Nax goes for the death as well, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yes, he does.
So maybe you're looking to save about 5 seconds here. A little bit less. No time save, in fact. A little bit less than 5 seconds time save. Time lost.
So yeah, time for the elevator up again. Setup looked good. Okay, nice.
Yeah, so earlier we saw Iron Boy lose a run to Crystal Caves, I believe. We're just going to see Catalyst approach that same segment and see what they can do for that moment as well.
Yeah, it's not that hard to not jump on that part, actually, as weird as it sounds, because you do actually have like a pretty limited window.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it can be pretty rough. But we'll see how it goes for Kata here.
One of those things again is like the composure that it requires to kind of play at this level consistently, and then against all of the pressure that's building up, that every time you get that split in the green and the positive, it's always going to be working against you. Looks to be all right so far. Okay.
I know, it's like a double-edged sword, really.
Yeah, it's a really important part of speedrunning, and again, like you don't get that in VODs. It's one of those things that we feel in the middle of the moment when you're aware that what you're doing is happening, and what you need to do to see it out and to confirm it. It's a very interesting part of speedrunning, for sure.
So yeah, this fight is also really consistent. As you can see, Kata casted Hidden Body for the clam, so they won't follow him in. And he's going to shoot the crystal, which regenerates Sheaf's health with a soul spear, and then he's just going to finish him off.
You see as well, taking steps forward as well, just to kind of consistently get that movement in.
So yeah, that was a very nice segment.
Now, going up against a gold earlier as well, so yeah, a little bit of time lost. That's 0.3 seconds off gold. All right, Kata, relax. So going forward now, so there's 6 seconds of time save here against Sif. I believe it was the fight was a little bit cheeky. I think we maybe lost a little bit towards the beginning of the fight, but there is a nice bit of time save available. We can maybe push Kata into the 20s in terms of second lead, which is oof.
So we'll hope that Sif is going to be a nice boy today.
Yeah. Again, preparing the homing soul mass just because it's a good. Yeah, the more movement heavy bosses, nice to kind of just be able to lock down some damage. Plus, it kind of works like a just rapid fire. You just get so much damage out per second. If it all lands, follow it up with a shot as well. And you can see some big, like with what you saw with Moonlight Butterfly.
Yeah, if everything goes right, it's an extremely fast fight. But if it goes the other way, then it all depends on RNG at that point.
See him talking through it for himself. He's got to be careful. Roll in. Unleash.
Oh, he doesn't have RTSR either. Oh, no, now he does.
Roll in. Okay. To losing time here, sadly. About 4 seconds lost. A bit tricky there. It looked like his health was actually at the right value, but just a little bit too much, it seemed. Or he didn't equip the ring, did he?
No, he just didn't take enough damage beforehand.
Okay, right. It seemed like it was enough, but I guess it's very. I think he must have been right on the threshold.
Yeah, it was like just above what you need, pretty much.
I guess I believe it was being mentioned earlier that Sif has this kind of almost chip damage thing that goes on, where whenever Sif spins, there's minimal amounts of damage that kind of gets pushed on, or something like that, or something along those lines. Was kind of how I interpreted the information.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Whenever you have RTSR, he always seems to jump, but when you need him to give you chip damage, he just likes to stay still. Usually, which is pretty funny.
Okay, so it's time for DLC. 4 bosses: Guardian, Artorias, Calamite, and Manus. This little segment here is a bit of fun. So, I was mentioning it earlier, there is a nice bit of time save here available, potentially. The big 8 seconds on Artorias, in particular. A pretty good Guardian fight in PB, so only 2 seconds time save here from the Guardian, but we'll see. We have seen the Guardian steal some runs, though, so we've got to be careful. Hopefully, this goes to plan. This can be over quickly if decision making isn't on point here. What are we going to get to begin?
Let's see. Lightning. Yeah, so lightning there is actually really rough, because when he's that close to you, it's almost guaranteed to hit you. So he got extremely lucky. He only barely dodged it, it seemed.
Managed to keep the composure again, though, not seeing whenever anything like that happens, making sure just to kind of keep confident in how to play it. Executed it pretty well for what it was, though. Looking to be maybe a smidgen of time lost here. But,
yeah, he didn't panic under pressure, so that's pretty good.
Okay. So here's the big time save. 8 seconds. Artorias. I think it's kind of it's one of those nicer things when you have time save in certain segments. If you can, being on this kind of pace and going into, your area where you have that time save is probably a confidence booster, but also one of those things that you need to kind of stay humble, stay humble to what the game can do.
Yeah, it's really nice. It definitely brings the nerves down, at least for me.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens.
Woo. Good God. Playing a very aggressive style here. No!
That was extremely unfortunate.
Oh, man. That is really unlucky. he was playing a very aggressive style and was doing very, very good at dealing with that. But it seemed like it was the animation that Artorias went for meant that the spells just kind of went through, and he got clipped by the attack afterwards. Straight back in it though, going for it.
We have Gentov and Nax both going to Seath at the moment on this.
Where would you like to go to, sir?
Why don't we go to Nax? He's in the green.
Sure. Nax it is. Let's have a look. We'll keep an eye on Catalyst, though. A fantastic run. Back to the drawing board, though. That's speedrunning for you. As we'll catch in as we have Seath happening right now. Looking pretty good so far. 24:52 butterfly. Being ahead of, I mean, thinking about that actually, to kind of think, to put this kind of run into perspective as well, what we just saw from Catalyst. Catalyst's butterfly time was 24:32, I believe. So that is fairly good. so this run, whilst very good, is kind of like at this point 20 seconds behind what Catalyst is doing. Still very, very good, and we're looking to see how far he can push that. But yeah. Creaking of my chair. Rah. Okay, speaking of which, I just realised the time, and I need to do a little bit of paperwork here. So we're just going to take a little bit of a break, because we're about 45 minutes since the last one. Yeah, so we'll just take 3 minutes as Nax is kind of making his way towards the Seath fight. Everyone's kind of on interesting segments. We've got some beginnings. And we've got both Nax and Gentov in a very similar area, so it's going to be nice to see them play through these things together. As Iron Boy is making his way towards the Golem and to get to Anor Londo. So early days for a lot of these runs, and some proving grounds to be met for Gentov and Nax. So yeah, we'll be back in just a little while. Don't go anywhere. Make sure to refresh if you haven't already. A drink is always a helpful thing to have by your side. We'll be back in a few minutes with Break the Record Live, and sponsored by Kaspersky and Twitch. So see you soon.